Mom caught me doing it with my neighbor. This all happened 10 years ago. I was 7 years old. Okay, here's the thing. My dad had left my mom and I for another woman. So I was always desperate for like male attention. Looking back, this is so terrible, especially for a teenage girl. New neighbor had moved in that summer. And let me tell you, I was obsessed from the moment I saw this boy. I became so obsessed because his window was right across from mine. It was like a movie. He would see me changing, I would see him changing. Of course, I never told my mom. And then my mom actually became friends with his mom. So they started coming over for dinners, and they were both single moms, so they connected on that too. Now, this boy didn't go to my school though, so we basically only saw each other whenever we were home. Okay, here's where things get messy. He had a girlfriend at his school. This did not stop him from flirting with me. He would stand in his window changing, and because he would come over to my house, he'd come up to my room and we'd just hang out. Both of our moms had a little too much wine one night, and he came up to my room and closed the door. As soon as he closed my door, I knew something was gonna happen. He asked me if I wanted a back massage, and I was like, yeah. As he's giving me this massage, he starts asking me why I don't have a boyfriend. And that's when I told him that I'm probably gonna get a boyfriend very soon, which is a total lie. See, I don't like anybody at my school. And that's when he told me that he would be really jealous if I got myself a boyfriend. So I turned around and told him, but you have a girlfriend, so you have no business getting jealous. That's when he grabbed my face and started kissing me. We made out for like half an hour while both our moms are passed out on the couch downstairs. I knew I needed to snatch him away from his girlfriend. What I did next is crazy. Once he started kissing me, we could not stop. I knew he had a girlfriend and I wanted to steal him away from her. So I thought, why not just do it with him so that he would leave her and be with me? That's when I took off his shirt, he took mine off, and things went from there. Let me just remind you that our moms are downstairs sleeping on the couch. Our hearts were racing and we were trying to do it as quickly as possible. By the way, I'm still a virgin at this point, and I just decided right then and there that I would just do it with him. I was being reckless as hell. That's when I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. We jump off each other and we just pretend we're talking. It was his mom coming to tell him that they were going home. My plan worked though. He started messaging me nonstop, and he even blew off his girlfriend that same week to be with me. Told him we could do it the following day if our moms weren't home. His mom went out to run some errands, so I asked my mom to go run me an errand. Evil much? I told him to come over and it happened. And no, it was not good. It was actually terrible. Neither of us knew what we were doing and it hurt like hell. But after that, he was obsessed. Anytime my mom left my house, he would try to come over. One of the times he came over, he asked me if he should break up with his girlfriend. And I said, yeah, you probably should. Duh. He literally called her right then and there and told her that he didn't want to be with her anymore. Then he turns to me and asks me if I want to be his girlfriend. Just to make him more obsessed, I said no. I told him I wasn't ready for a relationship. Then he started begging. He couldn't believe I said no. But this is when we both mess up. We start doing it. I started doing the dirty, but I didn't realize that my mom was home. My mom was supposed to be at work, but apparently she came home early because she felt sick. So while me and my neighbor are upstairs full on doing the dirty, my mom is downstairs making lunch. That's when the door blasts open and it's my mom holding my lunch. I have no clothes on my bed. There was no way my mom was gonna buy that we were just hanging out. My mom throws the plate of food at my neighbor. He tries to calm my mom down and tells her that he's in love with me. By the way, I was not in love with him. I mean, I liked him, but I wasn't in love. I didn't know what to do, so I just started to cry. Suddenly, my mom calmed down. I have no idea what got into her, but she politely asked him to put on his clothes and leave. As he was getting dressed, my mom told him not to tell his mom anything, that we would keep this a secret. Once he leaves, my mom confesses to me that his mom and her are in a relationship. First off, I didn't even know that my mom swung that way. Then she asked me if I loved him. I had to lie and tell her that I did, so that she wouldn't find out the truth, that I only did it with him so that he could break up with his girlfriend to be with me. My mom gave us her blessing so that he and I could go out. Like I said, this was 10 years ago. Of course, he and I are no longer together, but my mom is still with his mom, so I see him all the time. He still begs me to be with him. I just broke up with my boyfriend, so I think I might give him a chance now. I mean, I did lose my V card to him, but he cheated on his girlfriend to be with me, and he's clingy. Do you guys think I should give him a chance?
Been cheated on in almost every single relationship that I've been in, and let me just tell you the damages at his gun. And then people want to know why. Theory, why do you have so many issues? Theory, why are you so crazy? If we're gonna be anything, baby girl, let's be for real. Let's break this down. My very first relationship, I was so like in love with him. I've had a crush on him since all through middle school. So in high school, when I pulled him, I was like, yes girl, do it. Little did I know the damages that he would do, because he played the living hell out of me. But like, he would tell everyone in the world that like we weren't together, okay? All my friends were like, Theory, he's playing you, this and the third. And I was like, no, he's not. Like, he told me that he literally likes me, he loves me, I believe him. Like, shut the fuck up, you don't know shit. So that one really broke my heart, and I was actually stuck on him for like a very, very long time, because like I just wanted to be loved by somebody. I didn't have no daddy. Like, I really wanted to just be loved. So then my next relationship comes around. So I really like this boy, and turned out he effed all my friends. And fuck all those people from high school, because honestly, like, I complained and cried to most of them when I found out he was cheating on me, and it was y'all bitches that were doing it. And this girl was like, do you date this person? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, oh, we're going on a date. And like rubbed it in my face. And I was like, the fact that like these girls have no self-respect, been there, trust me, I can tell y'all some stories and y'all gonna be like, Theory, like, you are a bad person. Everyone always left me for a girl because I wouldn't give it up, but like, who do I look like giving it up to y'all? Like, I asked a guy, he said, let me do this, and I said, why? And I said, because you love me. Bitch, what? Like, I didn't say that. I like you, but I don't love you. If you think that you can sit there and try and manipulate and gaslight me to do something I don't want to do, baby girl, you need to get checked. Like, if we're gonna be anything, let's be for real. In high school, I was in like 6 relationships in the past year and a half. And when I say every single one of them cheated on me, every single one of them cheated on me, instead of giving myself a break, I was just searching for love. And that is the freaking problem. So then I got into this one relationship, loving relationship. It was really good. I sadly deteriorated really slowly in this relationship when it came to my body and my confidence. And that is honestly because instead of me trying to be myself, I was always trying to be someone my partner was attracted to. So basically, homegirl did not want to be herself. Homegirl wanted to be the girl that her man was attracted to. This person has bought people's OnlyFans. This person had other pictures of other people on their phone. Like, it was just very, very toxic. And I don't want to sit here and blame other people for my issues, my ED, and my BD, but if we're going to be freaking for real, let's be for real. It's hard for a woman like me that is looking and searching to be loved so freaking badly by someone. I crave your love and attention so bad that I try to be the person that you are mostly attracted to so that I can feel loved. Like, what? Isn't that sick? That is sick in the head. Like, girl, if you're gonna do anything, get some help. Like, stop searching for these men. These men do not love you. And this is no shade to my past relationship because he did not cheat on me. If it wasn't for the relationship that I am in now and my breakup in my past relationship, I probably would have still hooted and hollered and trying to find love. And let me tell you, I actually sat there and dated myself, learned myself, and actually had a relationship with myself. And now I'm capable of dating people without having that issue. And I was not a perfect peach in high school. I was insane, but it's okay. We live and we learn, and growth is a thing. So just take time.
In the most savage way possible. Story time. I inherited a holiday home from my grandma a couple of years ago. I never really get around to using it because it's about 6 hours away and that is just effort. But I always keep the keys on the rack just next to the door where all of our other keys are. Since I'm literally never there, I got a little security system installed, so whenever someone's on the property, I get the notification. So my boyfriend's brother, who we'll call Steve, recently had his 4th child. And Steve and his wife Amy currently live in a really small apartment. But 3 days ago, they both came over to mine and my husband's house with all of their 4 children. So we're all having a really fun night. It's really, really nice. And then Steve all of a sudden just mentioned about my holiday home. It's like, yeah, your holiday home would be more than enough room for me and Amy to raise all of our kids. Subtle, Steve. Nice and subtle. He then goes on to mention about how I'm literally never there. I obviously knew what he was trying to get out of here. I wasn't having any of it. So my exact response to it was, yeah, but you're not going to be living there, are you, Steve? Steve went silent. After this, Amy started gathering all of her kids and all of their belongings, and it was literally 5 minutes later they left. My husband hasn't said a single word to me about the conversation, and that night I did feel a little bit bad about my response because I know that they need the space. So fast forward to yesterday, I wake up for work and I realise that my husband isn't in bed next to me, but I wasn't thinking too much of it. So as I'm about to walk out the door to go to work, I go to the key rack and go to grab my car keys, and I realise that my holiday home keys aren't there. I text my husband and I'm like, hello, where are my keys? And he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, I accidentally took them when I was in a rush this morning. And I sighed a sigh of relief. I very distinctly remember telling this man not to lose my keys and to bring them back when he finishes work. So I just assumed, stupidly, that everything would be fine and I went to work. So I'm sat at my desk and then midday, I got a notification from my phone. It was alerting me to the fact that someone was on the property at my holiday home. I have never opened an app so quick in my whole life. But alas, I was not prepared for who I'd see. It was my boyfriend and Steve's family with a key and a moving van in the background. I was seething. I got home from work that day and who was sat on my sofa but my stupid husband. He's acting like nothing has happened. I lost my shit. I was screaming at him, asking him why he thought it was okay to move his family into my house when I'd already said no. This man tried so hard to justify his actions. He said that he had a responsibility to protect his family, which made me even more angry because what about me? Told him instantly that we were over and he had one day to get his brother and his family out of my home. I told him if they weren't out within 24 hours, I was calling the police and they would have to remove them. And my husband said that he wasn't going to do that. He then told me to calm down. So I then packed my bags and went to a hotel for the night because I was not staying around this little snake. The next day, I checked the cameras, and of course, who's at my house? Bloody Steve. And I, with no shame, called the police and told them that there were trespassers on my property and that they needed to be escorted off. Fast forward a day later. I go on the cameras for my house, and I see a police car out the front. I got the popcorn ready. The next thing I see is the police escorting Steve and his wife out of the house in handcuffs. So just to piss him off a little bit, I took a screenshot of all of his family in handcuffs from the little security camera. And I sent it directly to my husband with a little text that said, "Thanks for telling them to leave. Really appreciate it, babe." And I signed it off with a little heart. So am I the arsehole here?
I, 30 female, stepmother 45 female, wore white to my wedding on purpose. Am I right to cut her out? My parents divorced when I was 13. My mother, 55 female, found out that my father, 57 male, was cheating on her with my now stepmother, Sarah, 45 female. My mom was heartbroken by this, and so was I. I saw him after their divorce, but only when I was forced to. Weekends, some holidays. I was very angry with him the entire time and actually refused to speak to him for about 6 months. When I was 15, he married Sarah. I didn't want to go to the wedding, but my mom and dad insisted I go. Because of that, and because I was an angry, spiteful, and rude teenager, I decided that I'd do something to ruin the wedding. I know, as an adult, this was a horrible thing to do. I wore a blue dress to the wedding, but under it I'd hidden a white dress. I went to the wedding with my dad and younger brother, Sam, 25, in my grandfather's car, and when we got to the church, I pretended I had to nip back to the car. I went outside, took the blue dress off, and came back in a white dress. Both my dad's family and the bride's family were furious, but they obviously couldn't kick a 15-year-old out of a wedding, so they just carried on and got married, but it clearly spoiled it. Even in the photos outside of the church, Sarah looks pissed off. Sarah's family wanted to kick me out, but my dad held it together and told them to ignore it. This seemed to be going okay until the videographer asked me to say something on camera, and I said, "Let's hope this one lasts." At that point, my dad called a taxi and had it take me home. He stopped insisting I visit him, and I didn't see him for a good few years. My father and I rekindled our relationship when I was in my early 20s. I had a health scare and we reconnected over that. We've been on good terms since then, although Sarah has never forgiven me, even though I've apologized to her multiple times. Real apologies too. I do feel very bad about what I did to her. It wasn't fair and I'm sorry. A month ago, my husband and I got married. I noticed during the ceremony that Sarah was wearing a white bridal style, not exactly wedding dress, but similar dress. When I caught her eye, she was smirking at me. I didn't let it affect anything and just carried on with the wedding. We still had a great time, and I think aside from my immediate family who got the reference, everyone else just thought she was a bit strange. Later on, when we were reading the guest book, I saw that she had written in exactly what I said to her 15 years ago. After both of these incidents, I spoke to my husband and told him that I didn't want her in my life anymore. That I thought if we had children, she'd be a toxic influence in their lives, and I think I would prefer to cut her out. He agreed if that's what I wanted. I told my dad that he's always welcome to visit us, but that I'll no longer be having contact with his wife. My dad basically said it's both of us or neither of us, and my mom also thinks I should reconsider for the sake of keeping the peace. Am I overstepping the mark by going no contact?
Tell you about the event that I attended last night in LA, which was the worst experience I have had thus far. Here's the thing, every event that I've gone to, there's been of course little hiccups, human error, people get sassy, who cares? You forgive, you move on, and you still have a great time. But the injustice that happened last night, justice, that's what I'm hung up on. I got invited to an artist's song release party in Hollywood. I was personally promised from his manager and the host of the night that I was given a +1. We were gonna have VIP access. There was gonna be a little red carpet before the opening act came on stage, and then the main act. The invitation was credible. We confirmed me and my +1 slot for the event. The day of the event arrives, me and my +1, I brought Megan with me. You guys know Megan. Her and I drive 3.5 hours to Hollywood because we want to support this new artist. Get into the VIP line outside the venue. We're all looking at our clocks like, we were supposed to be let in 30 minutes ago and the show's supposed to start in 15, but we're not even doing the carpet yet. We're not doing press. What's going on? A lot of people in line were already getting a little sassy, but you know, it's the beginning of the night. You don't want that to wreck it, and it's LA. Most things run late. So I was like, okay, well, It's gonna be fun when we get in. Let's just get in. Megan and I finally make it through security and everything, and then we get to the front where we hand the girl our little barcode on our phone for her to scan. She scans mine, it goes through just fine, hands me a lanyard to wear for credentials, but then when she scans Megan, it says invalid. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, it's just a glitch. Like, the manager is literally walking around. He's the one that gave me the invitation. Like, literally no big deal. We'll just get this cleared up. Easy, fine. So the two girls working the front little booth, they just asked us to like step to the side so other people who get their barcodes accepted will walk the red carpet. I could have walked the carpet, but I was like, no, I'm gonna wait for Megan. As we're stepping to the side, we start noticing that like other influencers and their +1s and like people in the VIP area, random people, their barcodes start getting invalid. So the group of invalid QR codes starts getting bigger. Like, it was just Megan and I, and now it's like Megan, me, this girl Ashley, her friend Sophie. One of the guy friends that we made in line, his name was Jordan, and he also like randomly got an invalid barcode, so he was in our little group to the side, and he flew from Wisconsin just for this one event. He also got personally invited by the event manager, whom we are going to name Matthew. So now it's this big group of people, and we're all waiting for Matthew because we're all like, he personally invited us. All he has to do is like look at us or see our name and be like, oh yeah, I invited you. It's okay. Like, sorry, it's just a computer glitch. Let him on through. We finally grab Matthew. I start explaining to him. I'm like advocating for the whole group. I'm like, hi, I'm Danny Arabare. You talk to me and my team. All of us are showing up that we have invalid barcodes, but like we have emails back and forth from you. Like this just isn't like a big deal. Just, you know, let us on through. I am trying to be as kind, as graceful, as forgiving as I can. And Matthew looks at me and he was like, we're at capacity. Nothing I can do for you. Time for you to leave the facility. Wait. How are you at capacity if you personally emailed me and all of these people and gave us VIP barcodes? Is this like a bait and switch? And Jordan next to me starts getting so upset. He's the one that flew from Wisconsin. I'm like, hold on, Jordan. Hold on. I got you. I'm going to vouch for everybody in this group. We're gonna get in. Like, this kind of isn't cool. So I start talking to the girls again at the front booth being like, this is just one big misunderstanding. But these girls were not letting up. They were like, sorry, whatever Matthew says goes. Ooh. So then I grab Matthew again. Homeboy is not happy to see me because I'm not letting go. I'm talking to him and I'm like, hey, again, so sorry, but like we have our barcodes, we have your email address personally inviting us. What is going on? And proceeds to tell me that because they had hit capacity, they just literally went into their computer and just started canceling people. And was like, too bad, so sad, go home. After he says that whole spiel to me and the group and gallivants away, he pulls influencers from the line without even being scanned for QR codes, brings them to the red carpet, and I overhear the two girls at the booth saying that 100 people who RSVP'd for VIP didn't show up, and their arms are full of all of the extra lanyards. And yet they want us to leave the facility. You guys, this rarely happens, but I was pissed. I turn to my super tight friend group now because we were all invalid barcodes and we've all bonded over this traumatic experience of this man yelling at us. It's not like we were doing something illegal. He invited us. This is not our mistake. I'm so sorry you hit capacity and I'm so sorry you have all these 100 extra lanyards. What? It makes no sense. First of all, the man was lying to us. Like, full out lying because, yeah, 100 people didn't show up. You should have space. I'm the only one with the VIP lanyard. I'm the only one where my QR code actually worked, but I'm not gonna leave this. Like, you're joking. And I say, you guys, we are going to get in one way or another. I'm not gonna go in alone. Like, it's either we all just bail or we all get in. We're all talking, we're trying to make a better game plan. And that's when we decided to approach this from a different angle. So everybody around me who has invalid QR codes, we start thinking of a different plan where it's like, well, we could just go into general admission because it was free for general admission and then try to speak to someone there. But then we all ended up deciding, you know, is this something to truly fight for, to be in a group of people who have treated us so disrespectfully, and like, do we even want to be associated with the VIP crowd? Me and everybody with, again, the invalid QR codes, we then decide to just walk into the general admission because the way that the venue was set up was the bottom level was general and then the balcony on the top was for VIP. So we actually walked in and got like super close to the stage, which was great. While we're standing in general admission, might I add that we see Matthew running around the venue like a chicken with his head cut off, and he's hitting his vape inside the venue, outside the venue, being just extremely unprofessional. But we stayed near the stage, we watched the performers, but something that we didn't anticipate was one of the performers was in a fraternity. So his entire fraternity and all the frat brothers came, and we had so many drinks in the audience spilled on us. Like on my arm, on my leg. I got one spilled on my right ear. I still feel like I still have a vodka soda in there. Everybody in the crowd was just incredibly disrespectful and rude, started mosh pits, just like, really, you guys, really? That's when Megan and I were done. We said bye to all of our brand new best friends that we made, all the invalid QR codes. That's what our group chat name was gonna be. And when we finally left the event, we did some digging on the name of the manager who hosted it, who yelled at us and told us to leave, even though he emailed us. And this man, you guys, you're not even ready. You're not even ready. I wasn't even ready. After doing a deep dive into his past, this man ran TanaCon. If you don't know what TanaCon is, just a giant convention surrounded by Tana Mojo. She was trying to do something good for her fans, but unfortunately this man who was in charge of it had all of her fans wait in the hot LA sun for like 5.5 hours. They finally got into the event, didn't even see that much of Tana. It was a complete, crazy, terrible, terrible, terrible thing, which I do not blame Tana at all. She tried to do something good for her fans. Who I blame is Matthew, who I met last night. I no longer will even consider, even entertain the idea of going to an event hosted by this man. And unfortunately, I really don't even want to promote this new artist, because if this is his manager, that something's not adding up. I had so much content planned to share with you guys about last night. I was so looking forward to it. And as much as I want to post it, I just can't support who's behind it. And I'll